Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is where you are. It's great to have you here. Hi, Kaleidoscope. Thank you. Great to have you here, of course. So if you haven't met me yet, I'm TJ, and I cover both New Zealand cases and cases from around the world as well. We spun the wheel that we have last time I was on, and it landed on Canada. So I have been researching a few cases from Canada that I want to show today. That people may be able to possibly help with if they live in Canada and those areas. And it's a great way for me to learn other countries, other states, and everything like that as well. So it's awesome. My co-host Ronnie is around. He's been up, he's been down, he's been all around. I don't actually know what he wants to do. Hey Pam, good to see you, hun. So I can't say with any certainty whether my co-host will turn up or not. Hi, Sleuth Mom. Good to see you. Other things, I'm going to be working on a new logo now that I've sort of changed the channel name to New Zealand and World Mysteries. I'm going to try and work on a logo. It's probably not going to be very good, but I'll give it a shot. Anywho, my charity drive for the homeless is going well. People have been giving me donations for that, which is awesome because it's just something I feel really passionate about. Hey, Max, good to see you. I'm doing well, thank you. Autumn Fools, my darling, it's good to see you. Love it when all my friends come to visit. Kayla, hi, good to see you. Welcome. So I did put out a call on Facebook as well because, you know, everyone, I've got a Facebook page with about 10,000 people on there, and that's usually just for New Zealand stuff on there. I don't tend to post international stories. I keep the live streams for international stories. So now that people are sort of getting it here, I guess we could get started. Curious Kiwi, hey darling, Morena to you. Morena is good morning in the Māori language. Kia ora is hello. It can be said for a lot of other things, but kia ora. Autumn Fall says, I'm enjoying the sunshine today. It's actually 10 degrees here today. It's wonderful. 10 degrees? Are you in Fahrenheit or Celsius? The sun is shining here today in Christchurch in New Zealand. It's going to be about 20 degrees Celsius here today. We have just finished our summer and are going into autumn. Okay, so we'll get started because I've got a lot to share. So, but I will be pausing as we go for sure. Right, let me find where my first Queen Bella. Hi, darling. Thank you for coming. So I went looking and I found this amazing place, this amazing website called CanadaUnsolved.com. And actually, all three of the cases, two are missing people, and one is a Jane Doe, which I think that with new technology could be helped and could be solved. But yeah, this place is amazing. And if it wasn't for this place, I think my hunt for content would have been a bit harder. So we're talking about today, the first case, Marshal Iwaasa. You know that. Autumn Fall says Marshal's case is local to me and it's crazy. Wow. Curious says, I've been sending you stuff to the wrong place. Huh? I'm not sure what that means. Curious. Send me an email, sweetheart. nzmissing@gmail.com. Quickly, everything I do is in the description box below. Sources are there, links to other Facebooks and all that, ways to donate, ways to join, everything is in the description box if you need to know anything. So, missing since November 17, 2019 from Lethbridge, Alberta. So, just before we go into it, I thought we'd have a look at Lethbridge. It is a city in the province of Alberta, Canada, with a population of 101,000. It's in the 2019 census. Lethbridge became the fourth Alberta city to surpass 100,000 people. The nearby Canadian Rocky Mountains contribute to the city's warm summers, mild winters, and windy climate. Lethbridge lies southeast of Calgary on the Oldman River. We'll have a look on the maps here. So Kaleidoscope says used to use their website. It's good but outdated. Well, we'll definitely search for updates at the end for sure. Lethbridge is the commercial, financial, transportation and industrial centre of southern Alberta. Half the workforce is employed in the health, education, retail and hospitality sectors, and the top 5 employers are government-based. The only university in Alberta south of Calgary is in Lethbridge, and 2 of the 3 colleges in southern Alberta have campuses in the city. Cultural venues in the city include performing art theatres, museums, and sports centres. And if we have a look on the map, because actually I'm not aware of much of Canada, to be honest. But if we zoom in here, I will give you reasons for these other lines later, but here's Lethbridge down here. All right, let's carry on. Okay, so the great thing about this website is there's a lot of visual as well, lots of photos, which is really awesome. On Sunday, November 17th, 2019, 26-year-old Marshall spent the day doing laundry and chores in the house he rented in Calgary, Alberta. And so if we look again at that map, we can see, no, because you can't see the damn map. What a dick. Yeah, there we go. So if you can see the map, we've got Lethbridge down the bottom, and he was staying in Calgary. In the evening, he drove his dark blue GMC Sierra truck 2 hours south to a city called Lethbridge, where he'd grown up. That night, Marshall spent a few hours at his mum's house, helping her with a computer problem. We've all had that, helping our parents with computer problems, and now my kids help me with computer problems. He left around 11 p.m., wearing a green hoodie, black pants, red high-top sneakers, and a grey toque. I don't know what a grey toque is. If you're from Canada, what is a toque? Kaleidoscope. Marshall told his mum he had to get something from the storage locker he'd shared with his sister, and it looks like my co-host has just joined in. Do you mind? I can't read. Right. Marshall told his mum he had to get something from the storage locker he'd shared with his sister for the past 6 years, located in the north side industrial area between Shearing and Churchill, about 15 to 20 minutes away. Yes, we have a visitor. You need to get out of my way. I can't read. He said he would be going back to Calgary, so I wanted to look on this map, and I was trying to figure out where this storage thing was. Storage locker, and it's down here in between this industrial park, the Shearing and the Churchill Industrial Park. Thanks for sitting down. Can you stay there? God, you're just making it so much harder. Marshall never returned to Calgary. He attempted to gain access to the storage unit several times throughout the night. He finally unlocked the unit just after 6 a.m. and stayed for just over 2 hours. He was still in the area at 8:30 a.m. on November 18th. Nobody knows what happened after. Awesome Falls. Yeah, I need for my charity drive, I need winter knitted hats and gloves, I think. And socks. We need socks. I keep thinking of all these things I need. On November 28th, in a remote area outside of Pemberton, over 12,000 kilometres away, and this is what it's all about, is this here, Pemberton. So that's where his truck ended up. Look at the distance there, 15 hours drive, it's saying. So that's a hell of a long way. Marshall's burned out truck was discovered by a group of hikers in a densely wooded area at the trailhead to the Brian Waddington hut. Clothing and items were scattered at the scene. Other items of Marshall's, including truck parts, were even missing. There has been no sign of Marshall since he was last seen in Lethbridge. There is still no answer to how or why Marshall's truck wound up in that location, who drove it, what caused the fire, and most importantly, what happened to Marshall. So this is a weird one already, isn't it? The distance where his truck was found, 15 hours drive, that's weird as shit. His stuff being scattered around, that's weird as shit. I just realized I've said shit. Probably not going to get monetized now. I couldn't hold my potty mouth. I didn't say the F-bomb, though. Didn't do that. Damn. And the weirdest thing is that truck parts were missing as well. I'm not sure how exactly they knew that with the burnt truck, depending on the parts. Anyway. Paige is Marshall's sister. After visiting the scene in July, she's confident that Marshall was not there alone, if at all. She said this case needs to be pushed into criminal. She says, I will not be okay with this until we have answers, and I won't stop until we do. Awesome photos. Autumn Fall says, I think the distance is what makes it so hard to solve. There are so many routes he could have taken to get there, and we have no idea where he could have ended up. Right. Yeah, it's some distance away for sure. Lots of really cool photos. So Marshall was born January 3rd, 1993 in Lethbridge, Alberta, just over an hour from the Montana border. His sister describes Marshall as quiet and reserved and very gentle and kind. She says, I used to joke when we were little that I had sucked up all the aggression in the womb before he was born because I'm way more assertive than he was. She laughed, but he's always been very kind to anyone. Growing up, Marshall played football and rugby. He was into the outdoors. Whenever he went camping, it was with friends or family. Yes, Ronnie, I know you're there. After graduating high school, he got away more into fitness and bodybuilding, and he gained a whole bunch of new friends from that. Marshall still kept a small group of friends throughout elementary and high school and into his adulthood. We grew up in a really small community in southern Alberta, and until now they all kind of grew up together. Marshall also worked right out of high school and even before. For a while he worked at a grocery store to make some money. As he got older, he began working manual labor jobs in southern Alberta. The region is known for its oil and gas industry, and manual labor jobs on power lines and rigs is common. Marshall lived with friends in Lethbridge until he enrolled. Kia ora, Amelia. Kia ora. Marshall lived with friends in Lethbridge until he enrolled in the IT program for software development at the Southern Alberta Institute of Technology and moved to Calgary. So just a quick look at the map. Again, if you don't know what we're talking about, Calgary's up here which is a bigger place, of course. And this is where he was born, down here in Lethbridge. According to his sister, Marshal had friends in Calgary, but it wasn't a large group. His sister moved to Hawaii 6 years ago. Every 6 months or so, she would visit Canada, usually for a few weeks in the summer. Marshal would go to Hawaii every Christmas, which time they'd celebrate their birthdays, which were only a week apart, which is pretty cool. They'd go to the beach for hikes and sometimes travel off island. She said we would do like all the corny family Christmas stuff. We decorated our own ugly Christmas sweaters. I hate ugly Christmas sweaters. I hate Christmas sweaters at all. No one in New Zealand does Christmas sweaters. It's weird. It's weird. Sorry if I offend you and you do Christmas sweaters. Then had competitions and voting, made some Christmas cookies, gingerbread houses. Then we went to the beach and had a bonfire. This is like really ridiculous. She added, we've got ornaments and like paint the new Bob Ross, all that fun stuff. Don't know who Bob Ross is. During the years that his sister lived in Hawaii, she and Marshall still kept in contact every week or so. We would just text each other back and forth, she said. Then once he got into high school, though, it was longer. Site is in northwestern Calgary. Oh, what the frick? You're talking about the Institute of Technology. I thought you were talking about like SALT or SITE or something. Yeah, thank you. Summer 2019, the last time she saw Marshall was in July and August of 2019 when she returned to Canada for a family reunion, which involved a camping trip in Montana for a week. At some point, she and Marshall went to the storage unit they shared for the previous 6 years. Don't be sorry, Autumn Falls. That's the way that I read it. She said, we have so much different stuff in there. It's kind of like a mishmash of his stuff and mine. I've mostly liked books and family items, and he like kept extra household items that he had, camping stuff and tools. And then they had a bunch of Christmas ornaments in there. When she returned to Honolulu in August, she left Marshall with some items to put in the unit. Over the summer of 2019, her and her family were under the impression that Marshall would be returning to school in the fall semester. The topic of school wasn't something they discussed much, but she noticed Marshall would avoid certain questions. She said he would like throw kind of hints to me, she said, adding that Marshall would say things like, in my field, sometimes you don't need to like the degree. It's just kind of like who you know and your experience. She said it seemed like Marshall was kind of testing the waters of like, I don't know if I'm going to go to school. She said it's possible Marshall just hadn't told them yet, but she wasn't sure. She said we just kind of left it at that. Whenever he was ready to tell us, she said he would. We didn't really know, but we didn't look too much into it. We just kind of let it be how it was. So she's getting the feeling, this is his sister, that maybe he may not return to school in the following semester. And those are just feelings that she sort of got from him, looking back in hindsight, I guess. You thought it said salt too? Yeah, I thought it said salt too. But it did not. Autumn Falls did it right. So, honey, don't be sorry. In November, after he'd been reported missing, Marshall's family found out he hadn't returned to school that fall. I just wanted to show you something. I've got this thing attached to my arm. The co-host, he is here, hanging about with me as close as he can get to his mummy. So big ups and big hello to Rohost. Rohost, my Connie. My Ronnie co-host. Hey, baby. That's my baby. Oh, anyway. back to where we were. And talking to his sister, certain elements of Marshal's personality became clear. He was stressed, but she said there were no other major stresses other than what we thought was stress related to school. So he's being stressed out, but she just thought, or everyone just thought it was school. Although he was for sure a private person, he wouldn't want to lie. I know for certain he wouldn't want to lie to me, or wouldn't lie to me, she said. He would avoid it, though. That's the difference. He wouldn't lie, but would definitely avoid talking about it. So he wouldn't be in the position where he would lie. Cute pup, Max. That's my Ronnie. My Ronnie's a cute kitty. Bunch of really awesome photos here. It's really cool that they were able to talk with the family and get so many decent shots. November 17th, 2019 in Lethbridge. The financial trail of Marshal ended on Friday, November 15th, 2019. There have been no transactions since this date. On Sunday, November 17, Marshal spent the day doing household chores. His sister said would guess cleaning his house, because when I went to clean it out, it was pretty clean for a guy. Like for my brother's house, she said it was. Marshal was renting a basement unit with a family in Calgary and had done some laundry that day. That evening, Marshal drove his 2009 GMC Sierra truck to his mum's house in Lethbridge to help her with a computer problem. All parents need help sometimes with computer problems. Do me a favor while I'm talking and listening and watching the replay crew. Hello to you. Just, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, please, or the dislike button, whatever you choose. And then comment below would be awesome as well. You've got to stay out of it. At 11 p.m., Marshal left. He said he was getting something from the storage unit and going back to Calgary to go to school. We know Marshal was at the storage unit at around 11:30. Oh, bless. I hope you feel better later. Just listen, honey. And like they said, they know he tried to gain access numerous times throughout the night. There were like multiple attempts in a row. Like what she was thinking was, you put your code in, it's not working. He's like, what the hell is going on? And then you're like putting it again and again, trying to figure it out. You go around, look around your shit, make sure you have the right code, try it again. This is what she's assuming her brother did, keep trying and trying. Based on the activity log, which Marshal's family has, she said it looks like he had tried the code a few times, and after a while, he took a break of trying to log in and just waited till the morning when it opened. She said Marshal's determination to gain access to the unit was not surprising, and that she believes he didn't know the unit would be locked at that time. If he's determined to get something or needed something that he drove down from Calgary to get, he would wait it out. He would be determined to get it. She said, we know Marshal gained access to the unit after 6 a.m. on Monday, November 18th, and stayed till 8:30 a.m. So he was at the storage unit for a good couple of hours. This is the last indication of Marshal. We don't know if he was alone or what exactly happened after, and I'm actually surprised that they do not have CCTV camera footage of him at his locker, at the storage locker. I haven't heard that. I forgot the word storage locker, for fuck's sakes. Everything was still in the storage unit, including Marshal's camping gear. That was one thing I was wondering about, actually. Did he go and get some camping gear? But no, there is no video footage of Marshal leaving the area, and over the next week, no evidence of Marshal and his truck anywhere else. I can't have you cuddling me like that. I can't do my job. You just have to sit down and stay quiet. That's your job today. Yeah, so this is just showing where the storage locker is. Autumn says, to be honest, it doesn't surprise me. Some places in the north of Lethbridge can be a bit grungy or sketchy. Grungy is a new word. Don't hear that very often. So November 23rd, truck discovered in Pemberton. The Brian Waddington Hut is a structure in Felix Creek on the shores of Long Lake, north of Pemberton, British Columbia. It's about a 14-hour drive from Lethbridge. At capacity, the hut sleeps 40 people. Located near the peaks of Mount Aragorn, Shadowfax, Gandalf, and Peregrine, the hut is about 15 to 20 k's from the main road. It has 2 access points. The Felix FSR, the main logging road used to access the hut, and the Felix Creek Trail. The FSR ends where the Felix Creek Trail begins. I'm going to have to show you the map in a minute because this is a mouthful. From the trailhead, it's a 2 to 3 hour hike to the hut, which requires online registration for anyone wishing to use it. The drive to the trailhead is a journey across slick mud, gravel, boulders, potholes, and creeks. So this is a hard place to get to. It's a hard place to get to. It takes a damn long time to get there. Go away. So let's have a wee bit closer look. If I go in. I thought I actually went closer to that place, but I think I put it into the map and it wouldn't tell me where that place was. But I'll try again. So it's called Brian Waddington Hut. I think I put Brian Waddington Hut in there and it gave me bugger all, but let's try it again. If I put, oh yeah, look, here it goes. Okay. Did it give it to me? Give it to me. Why have you done that? Apps? Because you're stupid and you're making it hard for me. Okay, so they're saying they can't find that destination. Okay. Well, I tried anyway. It's a long bloody way away. It has rocks, it has mudslides, gravel, boulders, potholes, creeks, that sort of thing. So it's not easy to get to. And the actual place, that the huts themselves, is a good 3-hour hike. Amelia, you're eating your lunch while listening? Good on you. Making me hungry. Thank you. It's inaccessible by GPS. It requires 4-wheel drive. It's not easy, and it's not a place you just happen upon accident. Absolutely, you wouldn't just find this place randomly. You'd have to be wanting to go there and know where it is. I totally agree by that. It was here at the remote trailhead to the Brian Waddington Hut that a group of hikers discovered Marshall's burned out truck on November 23rd, 2019. About a week later, he was last seen in Lethbridge. They took photos of the truck and the various items scattered at the scene, including 3 smashed phones linked to Marshall, lots of clothing thrown all over the place, an Xbox, a PlayStation, and an expired passport. It was later determined that parts of Marshall's truck, which he'd recently paid off, were missing. It's possible they'd been stripped. Something weird going on here. That sounds really weird. I'm just going to go back and read a bit of it. So the hikers discovered Marshall's burned out truck on November 23rd. About a week later, a week after he was last seen. And okay, yeah, get it now. Okay, so if it was someone burgled or something, we've got stuff that's strewn around. I get that, but leaving an Xbox and a PlayStation there, it seems a bit weird. His contact lenses, contact solution, a Mountain Hardware Scrambler 30 backpack, his school-issued laptop, his wallet, believed to be a Nixon wallet with a screen spot for a license, and his most recent phone, a pearl-coloured Samsung Galaxy X6, were also missing and have never been found. So, there's a lot of stuff that was left there, which was very interesting, and there's a lot of stuff that had been taken and missing, along with a phone, his wallet, a backpack, contact lenses. Yeah, very interesting. And there's the burnt out car. I don't know how they thought that parts were missing from his car. How would he figure it out? But I guess, yeah, if it was like a big door or a big panel or something, it would be easy. So possible routes from Lethbridge, you say routes, I say routes. Possible routes from Lethbridge to Pemberton. So there's a few different routes that he could have taken. Ellen G, hi. You wanted to join and watch to show support? Thank you very much. If somebody could put the link in for joining the membership, that would be great, but you don't have to, as long as you subscribe, thumbs up or thumbs down, have a chat. I'm happy. Autumn says, I personally don't believe he drove his car out there himself. If he'd wanted to hike or go somewhere remote, there were many places closer like Waterton or Kananaskis. Absolutely, I agree. It seems odd if he wanted to go camping or get out of it. There were places that were a lot closer. Absolutely. But, I mean, anyway they took it. Anyway, the drive there is 16 hours, 14 hours. James Stark is one of the hikers who took the photos of Marshal's torch truck. He posted them to the South Coast Touring Facebook. It felt like a crime scene, he said, and had a very eerie feeling. According to CTV News, an article in which Stark was interviewed, nobody except him and the group had been registered to stay at the hut. They were on their way there when they made the discovery. His sister said Marshal had no connection to the Pemberton area, nor did any of his family. After the hikers reported their discovery to police, the RCMP spent 2 days attempting to access the site. One of the vehicles had been damaged during the initial attempts. When they arrived on November 25, more photos of the scene were taken. Nobody was yet aware, but something had happened in those 2 days. I think it goes to show that the RCMP also had trouble getting up into there. That's how bad it was. So this is not a place you just happened upon, right? You've got to know this place. I wonder if he owned all those items. Yeah, did he go to the storage locker? Did he grab all those things like the PlayStation and the Xbox? Did he grab those from the storage locker? Or did he have them with him? I don't know. It seems odd that some of the stuff he had with him. Anyway, yeah. That's better. You think his sister thought so too? So, November 26, Marshal's mum and sister were in Hawaii when they received a call on November 26 from the RCMP asking if they knew where Marshal was. They were told that his truck had been found in a remote area of Pemberton, and police didn't actually elaborate on the circumstances just then. She said, I didn't realize how crazy it was, how it was burnt out, and I don't think I imagined that, but we definitely knew it was weird for his truck to be there without him there. His sister's initial thought was that Marshal's truck had been stolen and that Marshal would probably find out soon. Once I got that call, I ended up calling my cousins and Marshal's friends and asking if anyone had talked to him and if anyone knew where he was. Lethbridge is pretty small, she said. Marshal's family in Lethbridge immediately began searching for him. Kayla says his family said the PlayStation and Xbox were not his and they were broken. Thank you for that, Kayla. Lethbridge is a pretty small place, she said. Marshal's family. I just said that again. Nobody could find Marshal or anyone who had talked to him recently, nor could they figure out why Marshal's truck would be over 1,200 kilometres away in a place where he had never been. We couldn't figure anything out. Marshal was reported missing that day. The following days were crazy and super stressful, his sister said. The family trying to piece together what was happening from Hawaii. Within 3 days, the Facebook group Find Marshal was created by his family to appeal for information, and it now has over 12,400. I can't say that. So here is that page. It looks like we've got someone here, vigil for Marshal, November 18th, 2022. So it looks like it's still kind of recent. So again, I'll have this linked in the description box below if anyone wants to check it out. You have to fill up gas if you're driving that truck. So what's to say it was Marshal driving that truck up there? Well, that's an interesting point. Was it even Marshal that drove the truck there? Did something happen in Lethbridge and someone stole the truck and that's who drove it? One of the most pressing mysteries of Marshal's disappearance is the lack of any CCTV footage of Marshal or his truck between Lethbridge and Pemberton. By the time he was reported missing, the surveillance footage from the storage unit was unavailable. That's sad. Much of the early efforts of the Facebook group, which is run by Marshal's family, was appealing to anyone who might have video from in and around the Northside industrial area in Lethbridge or anywhere along the vast expansive and multiple routes to Pemberton. Yeah, it's a shame there's no CCTV footage for sure. Yeah, and in the cases this late, I mean, 2019, generally we'd have CCTV footage somewhere. Did you get that? The lack of visual evidence in conjunction with Marshal's financial records, which indicated that he never filled up his truck with gas along the route or made any transactions elsewhere. So who drove his truck then? Who put petrol in the truck if it wasn't him? Hey, Fast Hemi, good to see you. Oh, you just, yeah. I've been just so busy. So I am loading up my live streams very slowly. Good to have you, Fast Hemi. Autumn says, my theory is that something happened between Lethbridge and Calgary. There are hundreds of back roads and farm country between the two cities. Right. You may be right. They have gotten a little bit more to his more of his financial records and did not find any occurrence of him filling up gas. That itself is suspicious. You have to fill up gas if you're driving the truck. Another element to Marshal's disappearance that's been discussed first in the media is the discrepancy between the original photos taken by the hikers and those taken 2 days later by the police. On August 8, Marshal's family addressed the discrepancies in a Facebook post. So that will be very interesting to look at the, you guys to go and look at the Facebook post and see what was going on. The images clearly highlight the missing, moved and damaged items. In one image, it looks as if a phone and other items were neatly placed beside each other on the ground. She said she never had the opportunity to look through all the items at the scene, but she said she knows that some items do not belong to Marshal. So should we just go back up again and have a wee look at the I want to see if we can see any items in these ones. Any items missing? I guess it looks like it doesn't have a front. It doesn't have headlights. But I can't make any make out any stuff. Is that the only ones? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I can't see them. But, if you guys want to look, the sources are in the description below. Now I gotta find out where I was. Initially, Marshall's family identified the gaming consoles as belonging to him. In January 2020, when his sister went to Marshall's house in Calgary and discovered that Xbox and PlayStation were still there, she realized the ones discovered at the scene did not belong to her brother. The owner of the consoles found with Marshall's truck is unknown, and that's weird as shit. Weird as shit. There's also the issue of the steering column, which had been removed from Marshall's truck. We confirmed that RCMP did not take it, so it was always missing. Who was at the scene during those 2 days? So if the steering column's been effed with, then that's a pretty good indicator that it's probably stolen, right? The RCMP has preserved the items, but nothing has been tested. We don't know whose DNA is up there, she said. We don't know whose fingerprints are up there. They just have the items, but they aren't running them. How often do we hear this, right? In a press release, Lethbridge Police said the evidence cannot be DNA tested by us crime lab unless officers have reasonable grounds to believe a DNA-designated criminal offence has been committed. At this time, no such evidence or grounds exist. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? Okay, so here is some photos of his gear laying out, or whoever's gear it was. Some of it was him, some of it wasn't. Weirdest. How the hell do the RCMP say, there's no grounds for DNA testing? Are you kidding me? We've got a missing man, his truck 1,200 kilometres away, burnt out, some shit stolen. What the frig? What the actual frig? I don't get it. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. The search. The border was notified about Marshall's disappearance and was checked. It was confirmed that Marshall never legally entered the United States. Pawn shops in Canada were also checked. Extensive searches conducted by Marshall's family and their RCMP and private investigators have yet to locate any sign of Marshall or his missing items. On Wednesday, December 4th, 2019, the RCMP announced that the initial search for Marshall had been suspended due to ongoing snowmelt. That month, Pemberton RCMP turned over the investigation to the Lethbridge Police search. I'm not going to go for the rest of this because it's just telling you about the searches and that nothing was found, because I'm not going to have time for the other 2 cases because this is a really long story. But they did a lot of searches. They did dogs, cadaver dogs. No one's seen him. There's no CCTV. There's nothing. Okay. But it's definitely an interesting case. Nobody knows what happened. So if you see this guy, if you want to read more into it, go to the source in the description box below. It's awesome. You left and came back? I haven't seen you fast Hemi for a while. Okay, moving on. I wanted to do something different, and that is a Jane Doe. Autumn, you keep track of it on Facebook and Webslows. If there's any updated information, please let us know. Max, sometimes you have to hit refresh. I'm not expecting hundreds of likes, guys, so don't worry. I'm still just crawling in a little channel. You've been working a lot. Yeah, I lost my job, Hemi, hence why I am on Facebook No, I'm not. I'm on YouTube trying to make it work because I have no job right now. All right. Now, yes, like I say, something different. I wanted to look into a Jane Doe case, but this one is really interesting because there's a lot of reconstructions and a lot of photos of what she could look like, which may actually help. So this here is unidentified Bowmanville, Clarington, Jane Doe, 2006. Let's look at where Bowmanville is. You're sorry, TJ. It's okay. It's okay. I lost my job and I'm doing YouTube. I'm trying to make this work as much as I can. It happens. So this story is over here. So Toronto and in Bowmanville here. Okay, so this is the new 2021 reconstruction of Bowmanville Jane Doe. And I think it's pretty darn good. I'm on every second or third day, I'm doing a live stream. And then on my Facebook, I'm releasing videos of New Zealand cases. Look at that. That's amazing. That's the best reconstruction I've actually seen. And I'm hoping through the images and all that we're about to see that people could keep an eye out. This here was the original reconstruction of Jane Doe. So the date of discovery was 2006 in Bowmanville. Estimated date of death 2 to 25 years prior. So she'd been there a while, 18 to 25, they reckon, and cause of death, possibly homicide. On October 26, 2006, a man harvesting dogwood plants in a marshy field in Bowmanville discovered the skull, femur, and skeletal remains of a woman with no hair and no clothes. The boggy field close to the entrance of Darlington Nuclear Plant at the junction of South Service. Oh my God. I'm just saying it's too much to say. It's too much. The woman's teeth were in good condition with metal and fillings. She had an expertly set nose fracture, indicating nasal surgery or possibly rhinoplasty. Although the state of the remains made it impossible to determine the cause of death, the facts of the case, a young woman's body found in a boggy, dense field and a lack of clothing, suggests Bowmanville Jane Doe was murdered. Because I can't see herself doing that to herself, right? So here is the recovery site. It's off the beaten path, so it makes it highly suspicious, said homicide detective. It would lead us to think there is a body, well, this is a body dump location. He also said that the crime may have occurred at the location. So we have a few things here that people might have seen. Of course, the area was searched. By the time the search conducted on November 29th, all that was found was a piece of red ribbon, a small red heart-shaped object, a penny from 1980, and a woman's omni-digital watch with a large face and stainless steel straps fit for a small wrist. These are items which may or may not be related to the case. Investigators were able to determine that the watch was made by the Omni Watch Company in the early 1980s and was sold between 81 and 83. So we have a look here. It says, although investigators released photos of the woman's likeness and a description of the items found with the body in 2009, they had no solid leads. And then it took 4 unusually dry years in Bowmanville for investigators to make another discovery. I just need to have a vape and a... Could the heart been tied onto the ribbon as a necklace? Possibly. On October 27, 2010, investigators returned to the site. In the 4 years since the body had been found, the water table in Bowmanville had gradually decreased. The perpetually wet and weedy field had dried out, enabling a more thorough search, which I'm really glad they went back to try again. The second expanded grid search over a 20-acre parcel of land led to the discovery of several distinct items which may hold the key to the woman's identity. So remember, if you're in Canada, around this place, or you know people that are, flip this over to them so they can have a look. The most significant piece of evidence found was a size woman's ring 9.5. Unique for its large size, the gold ring had a red garnet stone and 2 1-point diamonds on either side. The inside of the band was stamped with the word Burns. It was determined the ring had been made by A&A Manufacturing in Toronto and was sold at Burns Jewelers. It's a family-located business in Oshawa. They operated between 1923 to 1994. The ring showed evidence of frequent wear. It's likely the victim wore it more often than she kept it in a jewelry box. Investigators believe the ring could be the strongest piece of evidence. And look at that. It's a beautiful ring. It's lovely. Hi, Tony. From Oamaru. Nice to meet you. Oamaru, guys, is in the South Island. It's about 3 hours from me, I guess. Nice to have some Kiwis in the house representing. Investigators also found a men's hooded short-sleeved shirt with red, yellow, and blue stripes. The shirt was sold by Tip Top Tailor, labeled Blue Rodeo, and sold between 95 and 96. A 2019 article claims remnants of grey track pants were also recovered at the scene, because we remember that the Jane Doe was not wearing any clothes. In 2006, a DNA profile of the unidentified woman was created. Over the years, all attempts to match the DNA and dental records to missing persons cases in Canada and the US have been unsuccessful. According to a statement made by Detective Nash in 2010, it's likely the woman was never reported missing. If she was, the case may have been deleted due to the passage of time. The woman could have come from anywhere. She may not have been from the area, and people who know her may not think she's missing or dead. It's definitely hard with Jane Does if they're not reported missing. And we hear that all the time that, I haven't seen this person for years or whatever, but I didn't think they were missing, so they weren't reported missing, right? In 2013 June, the police service enlisted the help of forensic artist Diana Trepkov to create a composite a drawing of Jane Doe based on her skull. Her hair type is unknown though, but she had distinguishable protruding upper and low teeth. Police believe the woman's features are an accurate representation of how she would have looked in life. We hope that someone in the community will look at this image and take the time to call us. So this is an image. Don't laugh at me, guys. That was a hard word to say. I'm not going to try and say that word again. Not. We want to get the message out that all tips will be investigated. Who was she? She has a name. She has family. How did she end up in a field in Bowmanville? After 14 years, the hope is someone somewhere will recognize her and finally help answer those questions. I mean, you are laughing, Max. My mouth is dying. It's dying. I'm not going to read through the dental work and all that stuff and the bones, of course, if that's what you'd like to do. And then we've got lots of different hairstyles she could have had, and she could have had anything. I mean, they're just guessing now. So this young lady needs to be identified. She does have a family somewhere. which is really, really scary. Compost. Yeah, okay. I have trouble. Hope you're doing okay. Yes, my mouth is dying. This is a lot of information. A lot of places don't give you a lot, so I'm not going and saying that I'm not grateful that there's lots of information. It just means there's a lot of information for my mouth to try and get through. Thanks for everyone that's coming in. It's awesome. Consider subscribing, consider liking or disliking, consider joining our membership, or making a donation, or just being here is perfect as well. All right, guys, I'm going to move on to my third case in a little minute. Autumn, do they know ethnicity for sure? I wonder if she could have been native. Well, it does appear with all the reconstructions that they're doing, she appears that way for sure. They never did say, though. Once the word stumble start, it snowballs. It did snowball. It did. Oh, dear. Deary me. I'm just lucky you guys hang out and don't leave me, and you're used to my weirdness. I like showing my weirdness, right? Everybody's got weirdness. So this one here is one I thought we'd look into. It's classed as a runaway youth. The unusual disappearance of Justin Pollari. Okay. In 2001, you're not seeing it. I better show it to you, because that would help, right? Aha. Tony says, I've had 2 strokes in the last few years, so I feel you on the word stumbles. I've got no excuse for my word stumbles. That's the thing. It's just me. In 2001, Justin Pollari ran away. He was 14 at the time. As a runaway, his case was not unique. The year he disappeared, there were 66,994 reports of missing children in Canada. 53,000 of those were classed as runaways. What makes Justin's case unique is there has been no sign of him since he disappeared. In 2018, 92% of all missing children reported in Canada were recovered within 1 week, which is pretty high and pretty cool. Most children who voluntarily leave home make contact with family or friends within a short period of time. Some re-establish contact after they turn 18. Year after year, a single photo of Justin was distributed on a missing poster across Canada and south of the border. His face was plastered on public bulletin boards, transport trucks, billing envelopes. In the early 2000s, he was a familiar face among the missing children whose names and information filled the walls of grocery stores and post offices across Ontario. Still, even at a local level, media attention in this case was sparse and is sparse. I'm doing better than you, Kaleidoscope. I'm getting better, I feel, at reading. Slowly getting better. After 19 years, he's been gone longer than he was home. So what was his plan? Did he have one? Did something go wrong? The frustration of Justin's case is the failure of the public media and law enforcement in understanding a simple, crucial fact. A runaway child is still missing. While little is known, the result of an investigation reflecting a distinct lack of interest in another runaway teen. So we'll just have a little bit of a story about him. Justin Pollari grew up in the village of Disparats. His parents divorced when he was an infant, and he lived with his dad, John, and his stepmom, Janice, and her children in Hilton Beach, Ontario, which is a remote island village in this place, but I'll just show you this place so I don't have to pronounce it. Yeah, where is it? Okay, so this place is here. So it sounds really lovely on the beach there. 6 cents says your narration has improved vastly, TJ. Well done. Why, thank you. 6 cents. I'll take that. Okay, going back. In 2001, he was 14 and often wore his hair dyed black in a mohawk style, so he was obviously rebelling a bit. He had 2 earrings in his left ear. According to people who knew him, Justin was troubled. He struggled with his parents' divorce. He had learning problems and strongly disliked school. Autumn Falls, thank you. Sal St. Marie. Have I been hitting sauce a little early? I don't actually drink, so no. But I'm just always silly and always have trouble with words. That's part of my charm. On the evening of December 7th, 2001, Justin came home angry and upset. His lip was cut. It was clear that he had been in a fight. One source reported he admitted to the fight and later denied it. At one point, he lunged at his dad. Within a few hours, Justin was gone. He'd taken his skateboard and his backpack with few clothes. He was last seen wearing dark blue or black baggy pants, a dark blue or black hooded sweater, and a black toque over his 6-inch mohawk. What's a toque? I don't know what toque is. He was wearing red or burgundy running shoes. The temperature that evening was -4 degrees. So that's freaking cold. Well, any way you put it, it's freaking cold. Justin was not a habitual runaway. The only other time he'd left home, he'd gone to a friend's house and returned the next day. There's little coverage about his disappearance and no way of knowing what drove him to leave for good, or if that was his plan. Nobody who knew Justin ever seen him again. In the first few years following his disappearance, there were several reported sightings of him. Some were more promising than others, like at a shelter in Toronto. Someone matching his description introduced himself as Jay. One theory is that he may have traveled to Michigan, where Hilton Beach is located, meters from the US border, and crossing the border, obviously. Justin family believed he was heading towards Toronto. His parents and grandparents made several 7-hour trips to Toronto to search for him. They scoured homeless shelters, aimlessly searched the streets, and talked to homeless youth. They hung out at punk rock concerts and skate parks. Each search was unsuccessful. In a 2003 Toronto Star article, his parents expressed their frustration with the apparent ease with which children can sustain some semblance of life thanks to the shelter system. They believed the apparent glamour of Toronto street living was what lured Justin there. I don't know. That's a bit weird. Like, I don't think lifestyles on the streets is glamorous at all. When I see homeless people on the streets, and I get out and talk to them so I can give them a sleeping bag and a blanket, it doesn't look glamorous to me, so that's a bit weird. Now, as I was looking at this case, I seen up here somewhere, read the updated version. So I thought we'd have a look. And it says we couldn't find the page you were looking for. Okay, then we'll go back. It's fine. I'll go back to where I was then. It's created a lifestyle. A gas station attendant in Sault Ste. Marie, 67 k's from Hilton Beach, thought he spotted Justin getting into a quick X truck around the time of his disappearance. According to Ed Pollari, an Ontario Provincial Police detective, the sighting wasn't reported until mid-2005, some 4 years later. So, yeah, that really helped. Not. On May 16, 2005, the investigation into his disappearance was reopened. A huge area was searched by the canine unit. Forensics personnel also completed on-site investigation. On May 20th, 2005, police announced the 4.5-day search of St. Joseph Island had concluded, I should say, with negative results. Justin's Pollari family used to carry a briefcase containing photos of Justin to hand out in their searches. They also carried letters and drawings he left behind, which they discovered after his disappearance. In one letter dated 3 months before he left, Justin wrote to his grade 9 teacher, "I really hate school and the government. At class, I plan on trying until I get sick of it. Then I'll give up and drop out when I'm 16. The rest goes on about the amount of runaways. In 2018, the last year for which statistics are available, 31,000 youth in Canada were reported as runaways. That's a whole lot. It's a very whole lot. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Let's talk about all of these 3 cases. Are they right in saying that runaways, at some stage, he was 14, so how did he support himself for one thing? And then are they right in saying that he would contact family at some stage of his life? Maybe even if he waited till he was 16 or was 18 or an adult, or would you just leave it at 14 and just never speak to your family again? That's it. Over. 2005 had a bit of a resurgence of skater culture, but I don't remember it being as associated with teens living on the street like it was in the 18s. Tony, yeah, it is good to meet you. Yes, I have communication difficulties too. Live streams are fantastic for virtual traveling and socializing with people who share interest. Absolutely. I love the thing I love about live streams is bringing people together from all around the world. Yeah. Please comment, Tony. I like my small channel because it means that I can converse with everyone and talk to you. Given a choice, children don't actually want to run away. Well, it's hard. Even at 14, it's hard on the streets. I don't agree with what his mum said. In my personal opinion, I don't think living on the streets seems glamorous and inviting. I don't see that. And Max, we both share a live stream that we go on. Dad's Gone Live, where we see homeless in Bakersfield every single night. And it's not glamorous. It's not a glamorous lifestyle at all. Only thing here in this country, we have a lot of runaways. Men sadly get forced into sex trafficking. Yeah, so, I mean, there is a possibility that something happened to him after. There is a possibility that something nefarious happened. You know what I mean? You've been stalking us, Tony. Yeah, many. Yeah, I'm glad you feel welcome, Tony. Because this is a welcoming stream. We just love anybody, and yeah, everyone's welcome. Sounds like a toxic parent thing to say, in my opinion. Yeah, I find it's just a weird thing to say. I really hope one day they find out who that Jane Doe is. I'm wondering, yeah, was she ever reported missing? And why she wasn't reported missing? But, you know, I guess if you haven't seen someone for years and you don't really keep in touch, maybe, and you don't know they're missing, I guess then you wouldn't, report it, which is a shame. Let's hope that with genealogy and stuff genetic genealogy and stuff like that, maybe they can do some of that or something like that to find out who she is. It's weird. Jane John Doe's are sad. Yeah, it is sad. It is sad just to think that, no family reported her missing. Yeah, did she have family around her? Did she have support? Did she have family and friends? We don't know. It's very, very sad. You're still hoping for Marshal's case to be solved, but I have no idea how it can even move forward. Well, it looks like the police aren't doing jack shit about it now. I think they've done what they were going to do, and that's it. But, let's hope that people share this video out to people they have they know in those areas in Canada, and we can get his face out there. That's the idea. Max says, not to worry, NZ, I started an early live stream. He started off slow. Also, just keep your cool. Keep it up. You're cool. Thank you. I don't mind being told cool. I know that I am doing it slow. I know that I'm just crawling with my subs, but I love the small amount of subs. And I know even though I'm crawling, the subs I get are absolutely genuine about hopefully helping solve people's mysteries where they are and that sort of thing. So, Tony says, I really admire what you're trying to do. I can't imagine losing a loved one and not knowing what happened. Absolutely. That's why I started New Zealand Mysteries, was because I couldn't actually believe, or I couldn't put myself in families' shoes when they didn't know what happened to their loved one. And I just felt so compassionate about and empathetic for the families. So, yeah, that is why I do this. For sure. Views and subs are good because it gets my stories out there more into the algorithm, but I don't care as much for the subs and the views. Yeah, I just want to keep it genuine. But, I have to think about whether I'm going to try and find another part-time job or whether I'm going to keep really putting my heart and soul into this. To be honest, I don't make any money really from YouTube. Well, I make all from YouTube and not enough to sustain any sort of living or anything like that. But, maybe in the future, you never know. Autumn Fall says part of the problem with the RCMP is that this case is so spread out, so jurisdiction is an issue. It covers 2 provinces and at least 2 cities. Absolutely. In New Zealand, we're just one. We just have the police that just cover New Zealand. We don't have all that shit, with jurisdictions and who's going to do what and it's just a mess. I mean, in Canada, obviously, it's the same as the US. We've seen problems with jurisdiction there too. We have tried to report a missing, but no case opened. Crazy. Max says, I always share on Facebook. Hope many people on here do also. Absolutely. Thank you, Max. I appreciate that. Watching ads help content creators out a lot. Absolutely. We don't get much from ads, and also it's hard in true crime to get ads because a lot of people don't want to advertise in this sort of topic as well. So it's a lot harder to get monetized. But everything helps out. So even if you don't donate or don't become a member, even if it's just watching the ads, that can help as well. Absolutely. Autumn Falls, like the US, but we have far few people and resources. Right, gotcha. Yeah, definitely seen many cases where jurisdiction becomes an issue, and they seem to fight about who's going to tell the story and who's not, which just makes a mockery of it in the end. Well, my co-host. I don't know if I can give you. So there's the co-host. He's like, oh, he's moving. He's trying to be cute. He's giving you the cute pose. Look at me. I'm so cute. Look at me. I'm so cute. Oh, well. Did you get your email? Let me just check, honey. Oh, I've got it now. Okay. What's Pup's name? He is Ronnie. He's my baby. He's supposed to be a co-host, but he's kind of not. You should see how I'm talking about him and his tail's going. He is cute, sleeping on the job. I know. Okay, so Autumn just sent me an email. I'm just going to quickly, though, before that, I wanted to show you something. He is cute. I love my Barney. Why is this? Stop sharing. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Hang on a minute. Oh, there's the wheel. No, the wheel's gone. No, the wheel's back. All right. So I was trying to play with the wheel today and like make the colors a bit more cooler, and I messed up and I deleted a lot of states and places and I don't know which ones they were. So if you guys can have a look and you can't see a state or a place or a country that should be on here to spin for next live stream, let me know. I'll give you a couple of minutes to look at it. Darn it. While I just look up for a minute this, I've already looked at it. There just wasn't much information that I could, but we could look at it for sure. He's doing a great job. But he is doing a great job. I had to put Pup down. I had 2 cats, lived almost 21 years, just got a new dog. She's almost 3 months old, a handful. They are a handful at that time. That's like teenagers or toddlers, I think. Toddlers, at that time. Okay, so we're going to look quickly at this one because this is the one that Autumn sent me. And I did look at this. It's just that I didn't see too much. Right, 93. Early in the morning on March 93, a man delivering newspapers called 911 to report an apartment fire in the 8700 block in Vancouver. When firefighters arrived, they discovered 20-year-old Gillian Fuller's body inside her burnt-out apartment, located in a 3-story complex. It was quickly determined she died as the result of a vicious assault, and the fire had been deliberately set to cover the murder. This is Canada Unsolved. The last person to see Gillian alive, other than her murderer, was a waitress at the Rock Cellar Pub, a bar inside the Fraser Arms Hotel in Vancouver. Shortly after midnight, she left the hotel to head downstairs to the pub where she stayed until about 1:30 a.m., just a few hours before her murder. I'm getting mouth mush. The waitress who saw Gillian said she wore a sweater with a red trim, carried a pink-coloured book and left with a man around this time. He was described as 6 feet tall with dark skin and curly hair. Investigators have said it's possible Gillian and the man didn't actually leave together but had made plans to meet up at her apartment, or it's possible she was followed. It was only a 3-minute walk from the Rock Cellar pub to her apartment. The man she was with has never been identified. This is the road she would have walked, but I'm going to leave it at that because my mouth is not working so good. You can't read the words on the circle? Okay. India, that's one. How do I do that? See, I tried to do this. You should see me trying to do this. This is why I'm getting so. I'm going to have to add entry. Oh, yep. Okay. India. What color should we make India? Let's make it a nice red. Cool. India's in there. Tony, you're out. It was great meeting you. Please come again. It was lovely to have you in chat. Nice to meet you. No, there wasn't a lot of extra info, which is why I didn't cover it, but definitely interesting. Courtney Strubble from Canada is an interesting one too. I'll write that name down. It's one that I can't do today because my voice is going, no, stop talking. You'll never talk that much. What are you doing? See, usually it's only me and Ronnie. Your phone is on charge, so I'm here just listening. Well, I think it's actually time to spin the wheel and see what we're going to cover next. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to have to go over the wheel till next time and make sure I've got I've got all 50 states and all the countries I really want on there, and to see what's missed. Are we ready? And we are off. North Carolina. Yay! Good for you. Clapping. Confetti. So next time, in a couple of days when I come on, it's going to be North Carolina. We definitely know that there's a case going on in North Carolina that's very big at the moment, and that would be the Murdoch case, or Murdoch case, whichever you'd like to call it. I'm not going to go over that one. I'm going to find some cold cases. I will nzmissing@gmail.com, or you can go to my Facebook page. If you have ideas on cases I can cover from North Carolina, just not the big one. Thank you, Max. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Amelia. Thank you, Curious. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Autumn. Thank you, Kayla, for coming. I really appreciate it. Kaleidoscope, thank you so much. If you want to help with the charity drive, please just let me know. Otherwise, guys, I'm going to go and I'm going to see you in a couple of days. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Thanks to the replay crew as well. Couldn't do it without you guys. Remember, like, subscribe, share, all that good shit. I love you for it. Okay, guys. See you next time.